for providing me this opportunity. Normally जब हम अपने डेलीब्रेशन शुरू करते हैं थोड़ी लंबी हो जाती है तो स्लिप आ जाती है, पर इस बार डेलीब्रेशन शुरू करने से पहले ही स्लिप आ गई। ये कह के कि इनकम टैक्स में बहुत मैटर है, तो आप कितना टाइम लेंगे उस पर से 15-20 मिनट कम कर दीजिएगा। So understanding that you all are here to listen to Dr. Girish Ahuja, so I'll only try to touch important changes. There are, of course, 23 clauses starting from 116 to 138 which deals with GST besides custom. So I am not touching custom today. When it comes to GST, certain changes have been made because of the political development. Certain changes have been made to make the trade easy. And most of the changes, the challenging being faced by the government, how to accept that. And fourthly, there are certain judicial pronouncements which are likely to be challenged. So the government is gearing up and amending the law so that they can stand before the court. Friends, starting with the first change, Section 2, which is because of the political development. Now we had Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019 after the abrogation of Article 370. We had Union Territory Merger Act wherein Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Diu and Daman has been merged together into one territory. So Section 2114, which deals with the Union Territory, has dealt with that. And similar amendments have been made in Section 109, subsection 6. Because of this change, they have amended that section so that there can be a tribunal set up in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Then comes another change in Section 10 of CGST Act, which deals with the composition scheme. Now presently there are two kinds of composition scheme. One, we all understand, which deals with the goods where a concession has been given, you can provide services 10% of the preceding turnover of 5 lakh, whichever is less, on which the rate of tax is 2%. There is no change with regard to that. The change is with regard to the second composition scheme where I am liable to pay tax at 6%, that is 3 plus 3. And I can provide services also, I can provide goods also. So subsection 2, clause B, C and D is being amended. In case you are opting for that composition scheme, then you cannot certainly provide exempted services through economic commerce operator or provide interstate services. These provisions were there with regard to the goods. So this is one restriction which has come. So those who are opting for that composition scheme, please be careful and understand this particular change. Next important change is Section 16, subsection 4. This section provides the time limit in which you can claim the tax credit. Earlier on, if you read that section, the date of debit note was linked with the date of invoice, meaning thereby, if I am issuing a debit note in the financial year 18-19, then I can claim the credit by 20th of October. But the invoice in relation to which the debit note has been issued must be for that particular financial year. To make it more clear, I'll give you an example. Let us say you're making a sale on 31st of March or 29th of March. And then the debit note is being issued in August. So meaning thereby you can claim the credit of debit note only up to 20th October. And if the credit note is being issued beyond 20th October, then you cannot claim the credit. So that anomaly is being removed. Debit note and credit note invoices both have been made independent. So now the things are very easy. If the debit note is being issued in 1920, you can claim credit by 20th October 2020 if the debit note has been issued in 1890. So the date of invoice and the date of debit note has been delinked. It's a big relief. And then if we go to the next important change, that comes under Section 29. Section 25(3) empowers you to seek voluntary registration. But when it comes to cancellation of registration, you can only apply when you are not liable to pay tax under Section 22 and 24. Now they have enhanced the scope of this cancellation provision, which is the easier proposition. For example, I have taken the registration voluntarily, though I was not liable, just because I was dealing in the industrial chemical where everybody wants the tax invoice. And somehow I could not do my business, so I can now apply for the cancellation. Even if I have sought registration voluntarily, that is the scope which is being expanded. Then Section 30, which deals with the revocation, here the additional power has been given to the commissioner, additional commissioner and joint commissioner Earlier on, that revocation has to be made within 30 days. Now it is 30 plus 30 plus 30. So I am not deliberating much on this. Then comes 31, which is again a tax invoice. The government has taken a power to notify the supplier of services and supplies in which the tax invoice has to be issued and within time limit in which it can be issued and the manner it can be issued. So not a major change. So I am moving further. That move is also not so important. That is section 51, which deals with TDS. You know, when it comes to the government, they don't want to pay any penalties. Section 51, subsection 4 has been deleted. Why? Who is liable to deduct TDS? By and large, government and government entities. So they have removed section 51(4). So even if they don't issue the TDS certificate in time, then there is no penalty on the government. Very strange. Then 51(3) has been amended. They had got the power to notify the format of the TDS certificate, which was earlier in the Act. Because if it is in the Act, you can't change it by notification. So they have taken that and taken it to the notification part. 109, as I told you, it is with regard to the reorganization, so I am not focusing on that. Now comes two very important amendments which the government has brought in to curb the menace of the fake invoices, circular trading and so on and so forth. Section 122, when Sanjeev Singhal was telling me something, and according to me, that interpretation may not be correct, there is a fear. But if you read the law very carefully, then in section 122, section 1 capital A is being inserted after subsection 1. It talks about 4 offences, 1, 2, 7 and 9. 1, 2 is when you are supplying the goods without issuing an invoice. Second is when you are issuing the invoice without supply of goods. 7 is when you are claiming the credit without obtaining goods and services. 9 is ISD, where I am distributing the credit to my own units. They say in all these 4 cases, any person who is taking advantage of that, and twin condition is, and at whose instance these offences have been committed. So practically, earlier on the GST was dealing with the supplier and the recipient. Suppose I am the supplier of goods, you are the kingpin, and you have created certain forms in the name of your employees. Then that employee becomes the supplier. I become the recipient who has taken the invoice. So the kingpin could not have been penalized. Now they say the one who is taking advantage of that, अगर मैं employee की फर्म में भी काम करूँगा तो पैसे तो मैं अपने अकाउंट में निकाल के ले जाऊँगा. So उन्होंने कह दिया कि जो आदमी खुद उस ट्रांजैक्शन का बेनिफिट उठाएगा, and it's a twin condition, and at whose instance it is being done, that means the master king, he can also be penalized in the penalties to the amount of tax involved. And we all know in the fake invoices how much is the amount of tax involved. If that being imposed on the master kingpin, things will be certainly easier for the government. There is already a fear in the market and people are coming on the right track, but in any case, this additional provision will certainly help the government. Then comes section 132, which deals with the prosecution. आदमी शायद पैसे से उतना नहीं डरता है जितना आदमी इज्जत और जेल से डरता है. सो प्रोसिक्यूशन में सेक्शन 1 जो स्टार्ट होता था वो होता था whosoever. Now they said whosoever is supplying the goods or caused to supply the goods or take advantage of those transactions, and he is carrying out these 4 activities, he can also be prosecuted. So now the mastermind cannot only be subject to penalty, but he can also be prosecuted. Then there is second change which they have made, which is again very, very important. From subclause E, there was a term you can be penalized under this section if you fraudulently claim the credit. There is 2 difference. Kindly appreciate. I am claiming the credit on the basis of fake invoice, and I don't have any invoice. I fraudulently, because of any reason, I claim the credit. Now 1 to 3 is not there. In 3B, I am claiming the credit myself. So he was subject to penalty under section 132. Now from clause E, those words have been deleted and those words have been added into the subclause C. What does it mean? A, B, C, D are subject to prosecution non-bailable offences if the amount is more than 5 crore Earlier on, it was only subject to penalty. So even fraudulent claim of credit in your 3B, मेरे पास पैसे नहीं है यार, आज मैं credit claim कर लेता हूँ, कल मैं return revise कर दूंगा. So that kind of approach is not going to be tolerable. Now you can be prosecuted under section 132 because the word deleted from clause E is being added to clause C, and A, B, C, D are the only clauses where there can be a prosecution, and it's non-bailable offence if the amount involved is more than 5 crore. Then there are certain technical changes. 140, which is a transitional provision. अगर GST लॉ के बाद कुछ लोगों ने काम किया है वकीलों ने, तो वो किया ट्रांजिशनल की रिट्स या प्रोविजन चैलेंज करने वाला काम, वो भी बहुत कम हुआ है. तो सरकार के पास पावर नहीं थे, रूल से कर रहा था, तो कोर्ट अपने आप डिसीजन देते जा रहे थे. सरकार ने अब ये पावर ले ली इन दिस सेक्शन इटसेल्फ. Clause 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the 9 sub clauses have been amended to insert the word. They can prescribe the time by which the transition credit can be there. This is only to counter the judgments. After that, there is one technical change in Schedule 2. Schedule 2 deals with the subject whether the supply is a supply of goods or services. But if you look at item number 4, which deal with transfer of assets, where you are transferring the asset permanently, which do not form part of the asset at the instance of the business who is carrying on the business, whether or not without consideration. ये वर्ड डिलीट किए हैं क्लॉज 1 और 2 से. ये कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट कर रहे थे कि पहले वो सप्लाई नहीं भी होगी तब भी आपको ये गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा. अब वो वर्ड डिलीट करके बड़ी क्लैरिटी आ गई है कि पहले इट हैज टू बी सप्लाई, देन वी हैव टू सी वेदर इट इज सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज. देन देयर आर 3, आई विल जस्ट टेक 1 मिनट मोर सर. देन देयर आर 3 रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंडमेंट. एक फिश मील जहां उन्होंने 1 जुलाई 2017 से 30 तक उसको एग्जाम कर दिया. देन देयर आर पुलिस, बुल्लक and cart, which are part of agriculture machinery. Retrospectively, rate has been reduced to 12% from 1st July to 31st December 2018. And finally, in the case of tobacco product, inverted duty structure में refund मिलते हैं 54(3) में, और वो मिलते हैं when it is a export or there is a inverted duty structure. In the case of tobacco, 30 सितंबर 2019 को एक नोटिफिकेशन लाए थे 3/2019, जिसमें बैन कर दिया गया था कि इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर का बेनिफिट टोबैको एंड टोबैको प्रोडक्ट को नहीं मिलेगा. नाउ दैट अमेंडमेंट हैज बीन मेड रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली. 172 पावर टू रिमूव डिफिकल्टीज, पहले 3 साल थे, अब उन्होंने 5 साल ले लिए. With these words and looking to the time constraint, I am really grateful to each one of you for providing patient hearing. Thank you.